sprang a leak right over Memphis, Tennessee for the annual Super Chevy Show. But fortunately, we didn't have to watch the cleanup crew for very long as the Super Stock Outlaws made their 2000 debut in the typically wild outlaw fashion. And waiting in the wings, the Nitro Coupe rivalry between Bill Coleman and Jeff Brozovich heats up. But is it warm enough to keep the track dry? Stay tuned. We'll find out. The Super Chevy Show's up next, right here on the Deuce. About ready to go out for competition. Bill Coleman, the Summit Racing Equipment Corvette here at Memphis, Tennessee. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ted Jones. Welcome to Memphis Motorsports Park in this special ESPN2 coverage, the Super Chevy Show for the year 2000. Now, in 1999, Dave Graytech stopped Bill Coleman, the defending 1998 Nitro Coupe champion. So Bill has taken his Corvette, and he didn't take it lightly. He's included a bunch of tricks this year. Bill's biggest trick is the new carbon fiber body that he had constructed over the winter, replacing the old fiberglass body of his 69 Corvette Coupe. As you can see here, he shaved a lot of weight, about 200 pounds of it, that is, off of the new body. This high-tech material, combined with an engine program that is finally sorted out, means that Bill Coleman is the man to beat this year. And he'll have to get busy doing that right now. Wow, what a burnout! This is Dave Graytech, and here comes Mel Eves. Now, Graytech was the defending champion that we just talked about, and he's in a brand new car, a 1937 Chevrolet. They're a good look at Mel Eves, the Mega Power sponsor, 1963 split-winded Corvette. Both cars free stage, give the starting line advantage to Mel Eves, a 518. He moves on by easy win over Dave Graytech, 648, 207 miles per hour. Is Jim Nordhaugen from Longmont, Colorado, 1941 Willys, one of the favorites here on the Super Chevy Trail. His opponent will be out of Kernersville, North Carolina, a 1958 Corvette of Doug Winters. The number 3 and 6 qualifiers meeting with the quarterfinal round of the Nitro Coupe at the Super Chevy Show. Nordhaugen took a nap on the starting line. Winters a big hole shot, but then had problems. Nordhaugen 693, 190 miles per hour as Winters broke right off the line. Let's see what happened. Two Winters. Oh, tremendous tire shaking. Look at that. The parachute bracket fell off of the car.
Now, real quick, tell the world what tire shake's like.
Man, it's like getting, you know those paint shakers you see at the paint store? When you get inside of one of those, it's like somebody stuck in one of those paint cans and shaking you up.
Now step back here and look at how bad tire shake is.
Yeah, I know it. He said the chutes were out, but I thought he meant they came out. I didn't know they fell off.
This coverage of the Super Chevy Show is being brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, 30 years of low prices and expert advice. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Tennessee, a good look at the downtown area, but we're just north out of Memphis Motorsports Park as we continue our coverage of the Super Chevy Series. We're in the middle of the first round, or quarterfinal, if you would, of the Nitro Coupe. And here comes Jeff Brozovich out of Tracy, Iowa. His opponent will be Gary Irving from Bolton, Ontario, Canada. 1952 Chevy. A good look there at the 1938 Chevy Coupe that won the Super Chevy Championship last year, now capably handled by its former crew chief, Jeff Brozovich. Gary Irving, a gorgeous 52 Chevy Coupe, still getting it sorted out. Red light start there for Irving, so he'll just cruise through. Brozovich, a 647, low ET in the first round.
Track conditions, track personnel did a pretty good job, I'm telling you. There was enough track out there to get a hold of something, a little bit of creative driving and short shifting, and we got down the track.
It went 647. I mean, it's right there.
We'll take it.
And as Bill Hill does his burnout, he bumped out the man that is the subject of this week's profile. A study of the cars and stars that compete in the Super Chevy circuit. Brought to you by Mega Power Car Care Products. Reach for the power. Now with this week's profile, here's Brett Kepner.
The anticipation which precedes any new season is nearly intolerable for a drag racer. It's even worse when the opening event of the season happens to take place in your hometown. For Californian Dan Nicholson, the Super Chevy Series opener in the year 2000, not too far from his home near Pomona, California, had everything go wrong. If you remember the incredible inferno that rolled through the shutdown area of Pomona Raceway, it was the first ever really big, serious fire in Nitro Coupe racing. Nicholson is no newcomer to drag racing, and when he got out of the car, even he knew that there was an awful lot of work to be done. But the very fact that he made it back in a mere 2 weeks speaks amazingly of your perseverance. How much work had to be done to get this car back?
The car was virtually burnt to the ground. The body work had to be redone. The front end had to be redone. Every wire in the car was completely burnt up. Every plumbing, every piece of plumbing, every hose had to be replaced. The car was basically had to be built from the ground up all over again. The only thing that was salvageable is the rear quarter panels, doors, and the roof.
Now, what do you do in a situation like that? Do you immediately get on the phone, or do you just throw your hands up in disgust? Were you thinking when you were standing down there at the top end of the racetrack looking at the car, hey, we can get it back together?
That was the last thought of my mind. Just getting out of the car without a scratch, without a burn, without anything, proved that everything worked just the way it was supposed to. The next day, we took the car home, stripped it down, got the car down to the body shop and the chassis shop. Everybody was working 16 hours a day trying to get the car together. We were amazed ourselves. We were loading the car at 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon to come to Texas.
Now, I should point out that the severity of the explosion was a lot worse than some people thought. It blew the dashboard apart. It blew the windows out of the car. Was there any damage that you didn't originally ascertain?
Yeah, it virtually blew all the sheet metal out of the back of the car. It blew all of the rear sheet metal and the fender panels out. The whole dash, the tin work in the front blew completely out, blew the back window out. Yeah, virtually it was bad. I didn't realize how bad it was till we got the car home and actually tore it apart.
Now, was this a freak situation, or did you learn something that can help prevent situations like that in the future?
I think it was just a freak situation. We're still not sure. Something went wrong in the fuel system. We lost either a fuel tank or we lost a line. I've checked everything out. We can't find anything. We virtually built a brand new tank, a lot thicker material and everything. Everything's working fine now. It's still a learning experience for us. We're starting to get a handle on it. We finally got our first pass on the car down in Texas. We've been having other problems out with the oil system. It seems like anything that can go wrong has went wrong this year, but we'll be back on track again.
Keeping in mind that this guy has already finished in Super Chevy final rounds in the Nitro Coupe ranks, leads one to believe that he will be in those final rounds again this year. But remember, the very fact that Dan Nicholson and Nicholson and Lamont Chevy Beretta is on the grounds is a testament to a drag racer's perseverance.
All right, Brett Kepner, here's another guy with a lot of perseverance, Bill Coleman, who has a big points lead right now out of Winsville, Missouri. His 1969 Corvette, the one with all the new tricks, and he'll be taking on Bill Hill. This is the number 1 in 8 qualifiers. Once again, Bill Hill, the guy that bumped Dan Nicholson from the program. Oh, well, he was hanging with Coleman to about the 8th mile. Now Coleman pulls ahead 663. Nothing to write home about.
The car doesn't seem to want to go straight.
Well, we got a lot of power. I just got to back off a little bit. I understand Mel's got lane choice, and one thing about it, when it's marginal, they're both marginal.
Mel has lane choice, but Bill, he also has about 2/10 of a second on you. Lord Haugen will be beating Brozovic in the semifinals. We'll have that later. Superstock Outlaws are up next. Outlaw Superstocks here at Memphis Motorsports Park. And with more on those guys, let's go right now to Brett Kepner.
You know, Super Chevy is known for a lot of things. Car shows, swap meets, and, of course, Nitro Coupes. Oh, and let's not forget 600 or 700 bracket cars. There's one other category of competition that we always bring to you in our ESPN coverage of Super Chevy events, the Chicago Outlaw Superstocks. Now, that may seem like a misnomer, but believe it or not, it's really how this whole thing started. A bunch of class legal superstock racers who were sick of the index system decided to get together and run the way they wanted to run. Heads up, no breakout, first one to the finish line wins. But what you may not realize is that when that group of superstock racers got together back in the mid-1980s, they started an entire revolution within this sport. Because when they took all the lettering and decals off their car, all of a sudden they had what most people considered to be street cars. And this guy, Bill Hutton, is probably the godfather of the entire pro street movement, whether you want to admit it or not.
I don't know. We just put something together because we got, you know, like I said before, got tired of the street racing thing, and I really wanted to go heads up, no breakout racing, and we put a couple of guys together, 6 or 7 guys or something, and it just really took off. And everyone I talk to say they love it. So it's quite a bit more popular because I got guys calling me from all over the place wanting to run the thing, you know. But we're based out of the Chicago area. We do work, you know, everybody here works, you know, a job during the week. So we get as far as we can from that area. And we run about 15 to 20 races a year.
Well, folks, I don't care what anybody tells you. There are sportsman racers out there doing exactly what they want to do, and that's race heads up with the wheels hanging in the air, giant smoky burnouts, the crowd on their feet screaming, cheering, heads up, 8-second, 160-mile-an-hour. Forget it. I'm getting too excited myself. Just watch them.
We'll do that right now. Brett Kepner, Outlaw Superstocks. Oh, take a look at that 69 Camaro. They even put on a great show in their burnout. Jerry Sevick right there. He'll be taking on Mike Medizas in a 1973 Camaro. Two different generations of Camaros lining up. Now watch these guys. Wheels up in the air. What a show they put on. 500-plus cubic inch engine. Nitrous oxide is also allowed. Medizas picks up the win. Take a look at the times. 841, 165 out of a super stock Camaro. Here come two more Camaros. Joe Priola, Villa Park, Illinois, 84 Camaro against Ray Gustafson from LaPorte, Indiana, 1967 Camaro. Look at Priola walking through 845, 164. Very competitive. He beat Gustafson with a whole shot, who ran an 840. Here comes Bill Houghton, who you just met with Brett. Look at the wheel stands. Houghton out of Bristol, Illinois. 94 Camaros, E28 against Mike Priola. Yes, that's Joe's brother. Bill Houghton picks up the win, 840, 167. All of the winners running in the 40s, and a single right here to the #1 qualifier, Bill Sharpness. Again, wheels in the air for the St. Charles, Illinois, 69 Z28 big block Camaro. That'll set up a great semifinal round. We'll have that later in the show. Let's go down to manufacturing midway.
You know, whenever people think of the venerable small block Chevrolet engine, they think of the venerable small block Chevrolet engine. But don't for a minute confuse the original 265 model from 1955 with the stuff that's coming out now. A good example of the differences, take a look at these two camshafts, one of which exemplifies the original small block, the other, the brand new LS1 that has been, well, let's just say the revolution of Chevy small blocks.
Pretty much nothing's interchangeable on these two camshafts. The cams are obviously different sizes. The engine actually is shorter in the LS1 from the older camshaft. Both of these two camshafts here are somewhat similar in design, but we can actually build one of these things, a more aggressive camshaft with a larger actual barrel that GM utilizes.
No kidding. Is it a beefier piece in general? Is it a beefier piece of billet to start with?
It's a stronger piece of material to start with. We can put a bigger barrel on it. It's also gun drilled, which actually in turn makes it lighter.
Yeah, and that's obviously going to help the strength and the consistency of the whole camshaft.
Yeah, once we get one of these things, it actually makes it easier on the valve train itself, because we can put a more aggressive lobe on one of these things, and it actually transfers to the rest of the valve trains a lot easier than it would as a smaller barrel.
No kidding. Well, that would obviously mean more horsepower per cubic inch than is even configuratively possible with the old one.
Definitely, definitely. But, you know, as new as these things are, there's not a lot of aftermarket parts out there for them. They even changed the actual valve stems. They've gone to a metric size. So, yeah, finding something that'll actually fit one of these things. About the only thing out there right now, you can get cam and lifters, you can get springs, retainers, and locks, but that's pretty much about it.
So I would imagine Comp Cams is probably putting a lot of effort into designing pieces for these new products.
We are putting a lot of effort into it. We've got these new profiles out. This new engine is also a roller rocker engine, which I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with. It's got a roller trunnion, and I don't know if there's anybody actually making a rocker for it yet. So, but that's a real nice piece from GM.
Well, there you have it, folks. Brand new products coming out of a brand new product. But look again, you'll realize that in this case, shorter is better, and in the future will be more powerful.
All right, Brett, thank you much. We'll take a break. When we come back, look who's getting in line. Nitro Coupe semifinals. Stay with us. Ollie's along Mid-America Mall, which used to be Main Street in downtown Memphis, Tennessee, but we're out north of town at Memphis Motorsports Park. Let's take a look at the semifinal round of the Outlaw Super Stocks, and that is Bill.